From Hollywood, this is Jock Talk. Johnny Ciao Part 2 with Banana Joe. I can feel it now. Part 2. Part 2 of the Jock Talk interview with Johnny Ciao, the legendary culinary rocker. Johnny Ciao coming to our way from the Big Apple in New York. And he's all warmed up on the harp. It must be about 95 back there, Johnny.
It's wicked hot, baby. But I found this tune. Well, I knew about this tune a long time ago. But, and it's actually published by a good friend of both of ours, right?
Yeah, Sammy Kaplan. It's a Love Lane song. It's a dance land. Yeah.
You got to understand. I've been listening to Sammy's music for many, many years now, and I picked this one.
Back off on the music a little bit. Yeah, it's burying you. There you go.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to cut it down now. So what happened is years and years ago, I said, Sammy, I love that tune, and I've heard all his stuff, and I was messing around to do that tune. It's called "I'm Tired," and that's really my sentiment these days. I'm tired of all the.
And who's the artist on that? Who's the artist?
Well, he must have just gotten somebody new. Mary Johnson is singing it now. It actually was recorded by the Funk Brothers back in 1968.
And he's got those too. He's got the Funk Brothers.
Yeah, and now he must have just sold. I think it's in a movie or something, and they put lyrics to it, and I was like, wow, I haven't heard it. But anyway, that's just a story for another time, baby.
Yeah, we're back here with part 2. We had a freeze connection. You know, your harp playing froze the internet yesterday, and that's what happened.
You sure it wasn't my hair?
Nah, I mean, it's probably a combination of both, or my lack of hair.
Well, the other thing is, I just finished doing it again for you. When you weren't even there, so I was interviewing myself. I said, "Hey Johnny, what happened when you moved to Neverland?" "Oh, I'll tell you that story." "Hey Johnny, what happened when you moved to Atlanta?"
I couldn't get my camera to work. I'm using my third string camera, my $500 camera webcam. It won't go on. So hey, I'm taking it back to Best Buy. I'm sticking with the one that's built in the computer. It's free.
You must have bought it from Jeff Bezos. Woo-hoo.
Let me tell you, man, I should own stock in that company. Anyway,
I hope he lands on Pluto.
Did he take off today? Is today the day?
I don't know. One of these.
I watched Branson. I thought Branson was great. I thought he was great.
Yeah, Branson's doing like Disneyland rides. You know, come on out for $250K. You can fly up.
Exactly. He's a promoter. Yes.
You know, but the thing is, he played it safe, because if I pay $250, I would want to circle the freaking earth once at least, or halfway, and I would want to stay up and float around for a while. What is this, 2-3 minutes they're floating? For $250,000, I'm floating for 3 minutes?
Bezos is getting, he's getting more because he's going 12 miles higher because he's got a rocket that's boosting him straight up like the NASA guys, you know.
Yeah. So all right, it's all good. We don't want to get into that because that's a social.
That's another podcast. That's right.
You don't want to get me going on that shit. But, sorry. Blink, blap.
This is Jock Talk right here, and we're talking about radio jocks. And Johnny was a radio jock, so he qualifies. But Johnny has been a lot of things. He's best known for his culinary talents because he's worldwide known for that internationally. And, of course, the celebrity chef here in Hollywood. I know Hollywood was a little rough on you, but, boy, they love you here. You know that.
Well, it wasn't rough. I had a blast out there. You kidding me? I had a pad in the Hollywood Hills.
It's expensive. It's expensive here. And it's more expensive here than New York, right?
I had a Beverly Hills office on Wilshire. I had the Hollywood Hills house. I had the Jaguar, 12 cylinders.
Me too.
I was living it right. And at one point, I even hocked the Jaguar on Santa Monica Boulevard to a freaking pawn shop and got it out 3 weeks later because I was waiting for a check. How's that?
You're amazing, man.
That's a story. How many people hock their Jags and go get them back again?
How many people could hock their Jag? I mean, L.A. is one of the few cities that'll take a Jag, I'm sure.
No kidding. You know, and listen, you know, the thing I'm really upset about is, you know, we'll get into the story, but when Rick Dees came up to visit Michael Jackson at Neverland, right, he brought Michael a set of golf clubs, tailor-made, beautiful golf clubs, right? And I said, well, where's mine, man? So when I got down to L.A. after Michael, Rick, he invited me on his radio show and then his television show, and he gave me a brand new set of top 40 Rick D's tailor-made golf clubs. The
Beautiful.
Yeah, I hocked those in LA too. On Wilshire. Listen,
I'm not going to tell Rick that. I'm not going to tell him. No.
Well, listen what happened. I go back with the ticket and the money to get my golf clubs, and the guy, he said, "Oh no, we sold them." I said, "Sold them?" He goes, "I give you another set." I said, "I'll give you a shot in the head, Brooklyn style." I mean, you sold my golf clubs.
And you sold them too early. In other words, he should have kept it by the time.
No, because he saw the top 40 bag. It was Rick Dees is a big time celebrity in LA. So the guy saw that bag. He figures, oh, this guy's not coming back. A week before the thing expired, I went back with the dough, and he sold them. I was so crazy. Anyway,
I'm sorry for that. I mean, I'll give him a call. Maybe he has another extra pair there for you.
Hey, I don't want to get into my hockey.
I don't golf. I golf and I rip up the whole course. You know, it's terrible.
Oh my God, Rick Dees took me out on some fancy golf course in
Toluca Lake here.
Yeah, that's somewhere there, right? And that's where Laurel and Hardy used to golf, and like the legends in Hollywood, right? I'm out there. And everybody's waiting for me, and they haven't, the Asians are very impatient when they're golfing, and all of a sudden they're screaming and yelling, and Rick Dees is holding his golf club up like he was going to smack.
Come on now, you go to prison for that now. That's terrible. You can't even make the sign now. So,
all right, well, anyway, you want to pick up where we left off because
you were leaving Tampa.
I have to condense my life, Joe. There's so many stories.
I wrote my script, and it's in development now. It's called Free Fallin', like the Tom Petty song, right? And they cut it down to, it was about 300 pages. It's down to about 110, which is, as you know, a good size now. That's about right. 110, 120.
Well,
right?
Yeah, because unless you're going to do a mini series, you're going to do one of those Netflix series where you got 4, 5, 6 episodes. If you're doing just a movie, they cut it down to nothing.
Would it jinx it if I told you who's considering playing me? Would it jinx it if I mention it? I better not mention it.
You better not mention it.
He's a quirky actor, though.
You never know who's listening, man.
He won a couple of Oscars. I can tell you that.
Well, that's what you need. So
there you go. All right.
Listen, you either need a good director attached to the script, or a major actor, and there you go. The production company is irrelevant because
the writer that we know, good friends of ours, Jack Snyder, is a great writer.
Great writer. I've hired him for 2 other jobs, by the way. Since
he wrote my script, the beginning of the first drafts of it, and Jack's just amazing. And I told him my story, and he did a great adaptation. And as you know, he's doing that with you too, right?
Well, he's done 2 stories that I'm back into management, and that's the next chapter we're going to talk about now, because after being a DJ in Florida, in disco, on radio, doing concerts, I got into management in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. Okay, let's go for there. Okay.
And what happened is my good friend Susan passed away too young. I've had a lot of cool girl friends. I'm talking girl friends, not
that you weren't, involved with that way.
And you know what? And I miss many of them. Some of them are scattered throughout the world.
Sure.
But what are you going to do? Anyway,
stuff happens. Yeah.
Susan wanted me to come up to Atlanta. And after I was doing those concerts, I did John Mayall, Leslie West, 38 Special. And I did well with those rock acts down in Florida. You know those guys.
Sure. Yeah.
Old stuff.
Yep.
But then I took the money, whatever money it wasn't huge, but I went to Atlanta. And I contacted.
You're talking back in the 80s, 70s? When was this?
78.
Okay. Because you don't need a lot of money back then, but $5,000 was a lot of money.
Well,
$10,000,
So I thought I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'll do some jazz. So I hooked into Mayor Maynard Jackson, and he gave me an office. He gave me an office in City Hall Annex Building to do the jazz shows. So I booked Stanley Turrentine, Woody Shaw, Ramsey Lewis, Jimmy Smith.
Did a whole series.
Oh, man. At the Fox Theater, which is the most historic theater in America.
Yes,
beautiful.
It is. Yes.
And so what happened was during those days in Atlanta, it was like a big, small town. It was not a big city. it was still up and coming. So
pre-CNN, CNN did a lot to make
that was when he just started Turner. Believe me, that was right. I was right there when that all began.
Yes.
And anyway, what happened was that you had the black population who were predominantly into jazz, right? They weren't. It wasn't diverse enough whereby you can have a big jazz show on the same night when you had Earth, Wind, and Fire. That wasn't happening. No. So I got squashed by this big promoter out of Detroit. Whatever. He did what he had to do. He was a promoter. He bought Parliament Funkadelics. He bought Earth, Wind, and Fire. Every time I had a show, he brought in a big name.
Did they land in the spaceship, Parliament Funkadelics, with the shag carpeting?
I love those guys, man.
I do. I love it. George Clinton. Yeah, they're great.
Are you kidding? So anyway, that was the end of my concerts. I lost every dime. But here's the good part of what happened then. I used to bring the same acts into the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. And I, at that time, was a maximum. And I would bring these jazz acts into the prison, right? And I would bring these female friends of mine who were stripped down to bikinis.
Wow.
Oh, my God. The inmates love me. I get postcards. I got postcards for years afterwards by guys who were like major criminals. And I'm in there, and I'm doing, they're checking that.
The feds let you bring girls in that did that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Who's president? Clinton? No, Carter was president.
Yeah, Carter. So listen, I got nominated that year. They sent me a plaque and the Atlanta Journal wrote me up as the honorary convict of the year.
All right, Johnny.
That's right. That's one of my biggest claims to fame. I'm the honorary convict at the Atlanta Federal Pen.
I'm going to say something politically incorrect now. I'm going to say, stay true to your Italian roots, brother. Anyway, I'm Sicilian, so hey, come on. You know?
Well, I know you got a few stories to tell, but we're not going there.
Yeah, it's not time for that yet.
All right, so
after the movie comes out, yeah.
All right, so then here I am with no money in Atlanta, nothing. Not a dime. I couldn't even go to McDonald's. I swear it was that bad. So to
make it up to Buckhead to the strip bars? Huh?
You know what? I mean, I had bands playing. I managed bands. That's how I got in. I got into management. I would represent anyone who would pay me, from barbecue places down on Campbellton Road, which is totally black, to politicians, to whoever had money. You want to pay me, I can do PR. Because I've always
Andrew Young.
Oh yeah, I met Andrew Young. Hank Aaron, Jesse Jackson. Well, I worked with Hank for 4 years. We'll get into that.
Wow.
But Jesse, Maynard Jackson, what's his name? All the major
Lewis,
all John Lewis, all the Martin Luther King Jr. kids,
and the daughter, and Coretta Scott King
and his wife.
Yes.
Yeah, I was right in the mix of all that. You know, here's a honky from New York, and he's hanging out with the elite.
Bernice King, isn't it? Bernice, the daughter, that she's a minister.
Oh yeah, well, she was young then.
Yep.
You know, anyway, the story goes on whereby I started representing people. And then I saw this article in the Atlanta Journal which said racism in baseball, and it was about Hank Aaron, because Hank was bitching about, and he was right, that there was inequalities in the baseball world.
He was really bitching against the wind then, man. Nobody was listening. Well, and it was sad. Yeah, he was very frustrated.
I got him to listen. And here's what happened. I wrote him a letter from my office up in Peachtree Towers. I always had these high-rise offices, go to work with a three-piece suit, you know.
Yep.
I'm 21 years old, and I'm doing this stuff. So next thing I know.
You were natural, Johnny.
I wrote him a letter. Next thing I know, I get a phone call. And that day, I only wore jeans. You know, it was casual. And I pick up the phone. I go, hello? He goes, yeah, John Percival. I said, who's this? Hank Aaron. I almost dropped the phone. It's like, Hank Aaron?
Calling me. Yeah.
And I said, yeah. He goes, can you come down to my office at the stadium, the old Fulton County Stadium? Can you come down to my office? Yeah, man, I'll be there soon. I ran home, put a suit on, got the jeans off, and ran over to the stadium, and there was Hank Aaron.
Wow.
And I walked
bigger than life. Bigger than life.
Ted Turner was there too. So I walked right by Ted Turner's office. He's looking at me like, who's this guy? And I went right into Hank's office. Excuse me. And then what happened was Hank had gotten Bowie Kuhn, who was the commissioner of baseball at the time, awarded he was awarding Pete Rose Player of the Decade in the for the 70s.
And now they won't even let him in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yeah,
Little did
he know back then, because Hank was upset that they only gave Hank most outstanding moment of the decade, which when he broke Babe Ruth's record, right?
Yeah, but he had the moment, he had the decade, he had everything.
Well, that's why
Pete Rose, the singles hitter. Yeah, I know.
This was my entree into working with Hank. He wanted me to go to Gallagher's Steakhouse in New York, and I knew exactly where that was. It's a great,
famous place, and good steaks too. Yeah.
And I don't even know if it's still alive, because I don't go to the New York City too often. I know you mentioned
it was there about 10 years ago.
Yeah, but anyway, I hang out with bears and fox and animals here where I'm at. I mean, I have no patience to go to New York City anymore. It really doesn't serve me a purpose unless somebody's going to.
Yeah, you're in the burbs now. You're in the burbs. Yeah.
This is not the burbs. This is the lower Catskill Hudson Valley region. There's nothing but mountains or large.
Beautiful there. It's beautiful. I grew up in Scranton, not far from there. Come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, mountains.
Yeah, I'd rather be here anyway. But anyway, the deal is, I went up. I refused the award. The sports writers, there must have been 100 of them in there, and they all chased me outside, wanted to know. I said, listen, Hank just told me to refuse the award. At that point, I was brand new with Hank. I mean, I didn't have anything else to tell him.
No.
And so then from that point on, I worked on getting Hank speaking engagements, commercial endorsements. We got Kodak. We got Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I remember seeing Hank on a Happy Days show one time.
Well, that was my first trip to L.A., bringing Hank to Happy Days.
Get out of here. That was you?
Being greeted by Mayor Tom Bradley, Henry Winkler, Ronnie Howard, and the rest of the cast. Hank, it was a trip. Trying to get him to learn his lines was a trip. Anyway.
Because, that was Milwaukee that they were set in, and he started in Milwaukee.
That's right.
So it was perfect. You did a good job there.
So we visited the
product placement. Yeah.
We visited the Cunningham hardware store.
That's right. Mr. C, Tom Bosley. Was he a nice guy or was he nasty, Tom?
They're all nice, everyone.
Yeah. He has a bad rap here.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to get a hold of Ronnie Howard these days. I spoke to somebody close to him and said, he's not going to remember me because it was many years ago, but I'm the guy who brought Hank Aaron onto the set of Happy Days. And we'll see if I ever get response.
You know what? He would be perfect for my movie. He would be so perfect.
He'd be perfect. Yeah, he'd be perfect for your movie. He'd be perfect for the other two screenplays I'm in motion with. But that's always.
Ronnie Howard is just a great director. Come on. I mean,
yeah, you're kidding. And so, yeah, I mean, Brian Grazer. I mean, that's a great team to have on your team.
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta keep going because I'm gonna lose.
Go ahead, baby.
I mean, So after that, Hank went back, and when I did the Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, we marched with Colonel Sanders in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, can you picture this guy?
Wow.
And this guy, Italian white from New York, marching with Colonel Sanders?
Wow.
Blowout, because he really wasn't the most.
I bet.
Yeah. It wasn't like a friendly vibe, let me tell you. But anyway, that was part of it. Then we did speaking engagements, and I worked with him for a while. And I also had Isaac Hayes in Atlanta because Ike was in Atlanta. So I was introduced to Isaac by a Polygram record executive. And
Isaac ended up on the radio too.
Well, I'll tell you that story because I'm the one responsible for getting him interested in radio. Because I was introduced. This guy worked at Polygram. He goes, what do you think about maybe doing a syndicated black? There was no syndicated black radio shows back then.
No.
So I said, yeah, that'd be great. We got the studio. Let me talk to Isaac. Well, it took a long time to convince him to do the damn show because
morning show.
He was not. No. That's Kiss. This is a syndicated show called Black Music Countdown.
Oh, I got you, like a weekly. Okay.
I could pull the records. We had to press records. There wasn't. There were no computers where you digitalized. There was no digital anything. We pressed the records, shipped them out to 70, 80 radio stations in like Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Selma, Alabama. Markets, small markets, medium markets. It wasn't like this. We were sending it out to huge stations because they were, BLS. No, we didn't have them. We didn't have any of the big black stations. We had mostly, and I should say urban, but you know, I'm an old school guy.
Either way is good. In fact, it's going back to more of a black identity, the radio.
Why not? We're black, we're white, we're purple.
Absolutely.
Who cares? So anyway, that went.
I like R&B. Yeah.
Yeah, R&B. That went really well. And then, but it took Isaac a long time to get into it. You know, I used to coach him I'll post a picture of me in the studio where I try to coach him to get into it because he wasn't a radio guy. He was
what a voice, though. Come on.
He was an actor. He was a singer. He had a voice. So we got him to do it. And it did well for a while, and then, you know, he didn't care anymore. And at that point, music videos started happening, and I started producing videos after being at the Knoxville World's Fair in '82. I had you know, I'd gotten some experience doing video and stuff, and I started doing videos. But then when the big time guys, Bob Giraldi, Toby Hooper, and all these big time directors got in, I said, "There's no room for me here." So I went to the labels, and every one of them, by the way, international, all the labels, subsidiaries, and I got the rights as one of 3 companies to redistribute music videos to nightclubs as well as television. I guess, what was it, UHF, you know, stations all wanted, at that time, everybody wanted music video.
They wanted to do at least one 5-hour show of all videos to compete with MTV, they thought. And
right.
MTV ends up pulling them all for other types of shows. I mean, can you believe it? It's like...
It's amazing. There's no music video shows out.
No, it's gone. But you know why? Because you got YouTube. People program their own.
That's it. So, you know, and there's another guy, Russ Markowitz, who I know works at NBC, who had a show going for a while with all new talent, music videos, late at night on a network. And, you know, it was tough going to get sponsors to jump on that. But anyway, so the music video business, I started reformatting all the clips, right? From Warner, CBS, Asylum, you name it, and Polygram. And we would reprogram. I had urban format, I had a country format, I had an AC format, and a rock and roll format. So 3/4-inch tapes, or VHS, hi-fi, or beta, whatever you wanted, baby. We had the machines. I set up a damn thing full of machines in Atlanta, and we did well. And
the old analog world, wasn't it something?
We were selling, and that's how I know how to edit, by the way. You see, like, you do this show right now, I can't edit on a computer. I like them old Sony BVUs. Where
Took me a long time to learn, let me tell you, but you have to go with the flow, you know.
I got people to do. I'm not interested. I don't have the
people.
patience.
My people. You know, I got my dog Gigi. She's no good on the video editor.
No, I can't do
lots
it.
of love.
I mean, people. I got a guy or 2 that can help me do it. Yeah, I can't deal with it. It drives me crazy, and the computer locks up, and this and that.
Oh, please.
Anyway, hell with all that. The thing is, life was good. I'm in Atlanta, and then I see the music video business kind of going like this. It started going brr, because the labels then recognized, the legal department recognized that, why are these 3 companies, one in New York and one in Atlanta, making money off of our videos, and we're not getting a dime? Well, initially it was for promotional reasons, but they finally realized we're selling these 3/4-inch tapes, these VHS and these beta tapes, to nightclubs. And they said, we want some of that money.
Oh, they want the action, sure enough.
So then we had to get them involved, and they were taking a big enough piece that I said, you know what, I don't see this business going anywhere. And I started working with home video companies, because then home video, A&M Home Video, New World, Warner, they were all putting videos into movies and utilizing the video to promote a movie.
They were $95 for a video movie, though.
Yeah. So I moved to Beverly Hills, and then that was the end of it. I drove my car across the desert. I got chased by the Navajo Indians, by the way. I was doing 170.
They probably wanted that head of hair.
They
wanted that scalp.
In an XJS Jag, and in 1985, I'm driving through the desert, and I'm flying, and all of a sudden this Mustang, Navajo Indian Mustang, pulls out with the lights chasing me. I said, I'm not stopping for this guy. I'm going all the way to the border. I'm not getting scalped here, man. I'm not gonna
in a reservation where they're the government. You know, yeah. See you, babe. No, don't get that. Don't do that. Come on. Anyway,
Did that hurt your ears, man?
It's not correct. So, you remember
You know
the
what?
Washington football team? They don't even have a nickname yet.
Listen, Indians were Indians. They did that to me. And as I'm driving, stopping at different places in the middle of the desert, they did that thing to me. So what? I'm just telling you what they did to me.
They did the call to you?
You know, and I'm like,
what about Atlanta? They do like, oh, hey, oh.
I speak to people who can't even speak to me, languages that I don't even know. I know how to communicate. I'm a communicator.
Italians talk with their hands. That's what we do.
You know, yeah. You want to eat? Come on. I cook.
When we do TV, they tell us, hold your hands together. That way you don't look so Italian, they tell me.
Yeah, I cook for you. Hey, what's up, baby? You want to buy some spice, or maybe you want a little nice spice?
Send me a little sample here. Come on.
I'm not gonna do promo stuff. I will send you.
It's okay. Do the promo. That's what we're here for. It's my show. I own it. Let's do it.
All right. So anyway,
that's a great cookbook, by the way. I need another copy. I lost it. I went away to college for a while, and I lost the cookbook.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
So listen. So
you spill spaghetti sauce all over it. So listen, you know, because we got to get through this. There's too much to talk about.
Okay, let's cut to the L.A. Scene when you went to San Francisco and you got a message from a very famous celebrity artist.
Yeah, well, what happened is I'm living in L.A., right, and I started managing again, which I'm back to doing now. I went to represented a guy named George Bukowski, great guy, incredible child prodigy, incredible. He's played with so many people. And George says, hey, why don't we go to San Francisco? I'm up in the Hollywood Hills. I got a great view. I got a pad up there. I gave up the Wilshire Boulevard office because I got tired of chasing these home video companies for stupid money every month. They never paid. And we have a friend who goes through the same thing with publishing, right?
Yep.
Because he's chasing money. So I said, all right, George.
It's in the pipeline, Joey. It's in the pipeline.
It's in the pipeline.
That's right.
It's coming. Don't worry about it. That's why I had to hock the check. What are you kidding? Where's my check?
I know the feeling. My pipeline's a little late, too. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I moved to San Francisco in the middle of the night, landed at this big house right on Golden Gate Park with George. I started managing him. He knew a lot of people. So one night he gets a party at his house, and it was Bill Graham. You know, Fillmore East, Fillmore West, the famous Bill Graham. Are you kidding?
Legends.
And then there was a few other people. Elliot Mintz, who represented John Lennon, who was his advisor. And
I know. We spoke of Elliot quite often, yes.
It was a small party, and Bill goes, hey, man, why don't you do the Bammies? Come and do the Bammies. They said, I didn't know what the Bammies were like. The
Bay Area, yeah, sure.
Right. And all of a sudden, I said, I'm not a caterer, man. I just cook for people, friends, family. He goes, don't worry. Hard Rock Cafe will be there doing their chili. He goes, do one thing. So I said, okay. So I went out and bought a couple of garbage cans from Kmart at that time and went to a friend's restaurant in San Francisco, and he made enough pasta salad to feed an army.
Beautiful.
So I go to the Bammies. Who's there? Carlos Santana, the Grateful Dead, Huey Lewis, Buddy Miles, Chris Isaac. What a party backstage. I'm like, wow. And all of a sudden, I start, I made good friends with everybody. But at that
Huey's
point,
a great guy, yeah.
I just came up with the name Johnny Ciao because I figured I'm going to do this party. I'm going to come up with a name. And I came up with Johnny Ciao. So that night, after the party, I brought all the food onto Market Street in San Francisco, right? And fed homeless people. I said,
nice.
Yeah, nice. The San Francisco PD came. They slapped my hands together, put me in handcuffs, threw me in the back of the squad car.
They don't do that anymore. They'll let you feed them now. Yes.
Well, they did it. And next thing I know, I had to explain, and they had to get on the phone to Bill Graham's people to understand that I was there doing a party. They let me go. But the next day, the best part of the story, forget about that night. The best thing was the next morning when Herb Cain, one of the famous columnists, one of the greatest.
Chronicle, San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah. He wrote it up in the Chronicle. That's how I was born. I was born in the back of a squad car.
That's how it all happened, man. I never even heard that story. Now tell me about when it really stepped up. It really
What happened?
A big jump here.
All right, I was out of my mind in San Francisco. I was having such a good time. I had a great view. I was, partying.
San Francisco is reminiscent of New York and more than LA is. So if you felt at home there. Yeah.
I was in party mode, baby. These are stories that are coming out in the book. Okay. So when I'm in party mode, I'm in work mode. It's all the same for me. That's why the book's called Eating Life. I do it all together. I do it all together. I don't fucking do. I'm sorry. You're going to edit.
We'll edit that out. Yeah, go ahead.
Bleep it. I don't do work time, play time. I do it all together.
Me too. Go ahead.
All right. So,
that's why they call me Banana Joe. Yeah.
That's why they call me Brooklyn Johnny. So listen, the next thing I know, I'm doing these, stupid gigs in the studio di Sausalito, and I'm going to some of these celebrity homes and doing, one night parties, day party, whatever. And all of a sudden I get a phone call from LA, right? And I never heard of this person. It's like an agent who books domestic help, right? She was actually one of the top ones. Because
it wasn't Frank DeLeo.
No. I'll tell you that. The story about Frank and John Branca is that John, that's a whole nother topic about the Michael Jackson era. Because Bill Bray, who was running Michael's life, because Michael wasn't dealing with Joe, Bill Bray really made a lot of mistakes. He fired DeLeo, he fired John Branca, and I'm in there, another Italian, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. So anyway,
bada bing, bada bang, bada boom.
Yeah, he was a trip, man. So I get the call, and they go, "You want to interview?" I said, "With who?" They go, Michael Jackson. They're Mexican, mostly Hispanic. So the people who book domestic help. So she goes,
they have to speak the dual languages. Sure, yeah, okay.
I speak Spanish, so no problem. I said, yeah, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. And I go down, and all of a sudden it's corporate. It's in Century City.
Sure.
And I go into this big high-rise building, and I don't see no Michael. There was Bill Bray, who was Michael's confidant, another couple of people. And next thing I know, I'm talking, and they, and I think I imagine right then. I said, Michael's got to be listening or watching.
Got to be, a phone hookup,
He's not going to just let them interview some guy. Now he had this Sikh Indian woman chef because he had just bought Neverland, so we only had one chef.
I was going to say, you must have been about what, 28 then, 24? How old were you then?
Was it 1970? No, it was 1987.
Yeah, it was the height of Michael's career. Yes.
Yeah, well, it was like, my early 30s.
Right.
What do you want to do?
Michael was about how old? Same thing.
You want to tell everybody I'm 107 years old?
And he was around the same age too, Yeah,
so, Michael and Michael are very close. He's a little younger, a couple of years younger.
Sure.
But anyway, so I said, okay, here's the interview. I went back to my place. At that point, I had another pad up in Beverly Glen, which is really cool. It was like a tree house. I could overlook Century City. So I go up there, and all of a sudden, I get a phone call about an hour, 2 hours later. And they go, Michael wants to meet you tomorrow. Can you go to Neverland? Yeah, I'm going.
No, I'm booked up. Yeah.
No, sorry. Can't go. I got another gig with Will Smith. See you later. I'm like, give me a break. I'll be there. So I drive up the 101 freeway, going all the way up.
Feeling good all the way, yeah.
To the 154, the Kachuma Pass. Beautiful road. I mean, you feel like you're in another world when you go over that road. When you go over the pass, it's unbelievable. So I get up to Neverland. The guard lets me go through the gate. Bingo, bango. I walk into the house, and all of a sudden, Michael comes running through, looking at me with a mask on. This is way before COVID, man.
I was going to just show you that we're back in the masks here,
Michael had masks on way before. He knew COVID was coming. Yeah. So all of a sudden, he comes running through the kitchen and through the living room where I'm at and takes off. And I'm going, what the hell's going on? So I called corporate. I said,
he was running. He wanted to get a glance at you, and then he ran away. Right? Like a kid.
I called corporate. I said, what happened? They said he just ran away. No, just stick around for a while, bing, bang, it's Michael Jackson, I said, okay, I'm going to.
He needs to warm up to you, right.
Yeah. So I hung out. We talked for a while, and next thing I know, corporate call. He didn't say you're hired. corporate called me back and said he wants you to start immediately.
Yeah, like can you stay tonight? Right.
Meanwhile, he went from the Sikh Indian woman to this guy.
Wow.
It was like the other ends of the world. Yeah, hi, Mike. So I went up and I gave up my apartment in San Francisco. A great spot up there, man. And, you know, I had a apartment overlooking Alcatraz, the whole bay. Many people do, but it was just phenomenal to go there, especially when you were living in LA and you wanted to breathe air. You take that $39 flight from Burbank, and I was in San Francisco, and I'm opening these bay windows and looking at Al Capone's home.
A beautiful breeze is coming in.
Yeah, it was great, man. Yeah. But you know, things are changing now. But certainly, it was interesting. I went back up, and I never really did a gig like that. I never worked. And if they knew, here's the crux of it all. If they knew corporate.
So how was your crib there? What was it like? You get a room?
I'll tell you in a second. But if they knew that I was in the business, in management, doing the things I did, I had a fib. Oh, I'm a chef.
You had to tell them the whole line. Yeah.
They never would have hired me. Never.
Never. But boy, they
never would have hired a guy like never. So I went in pretending to be, you know, whatever kind of chef you wanted.
I'm whatever you want me to be, baby.
And I did it. I got him back into poultry and fish. I got him eating. But the best part, Joe, was...
Do you like Italian food?
Yeah, but no, the best part, you know, getting him back into poultry and fish, he liked to eat with his hands. So I would create little, like, finger salads and burritos and different things. He loved pizza.
Like the Moroccans do with their hands, yeah.
Right, everything. So, and I'll tell you, I mean, because we can go on forever about stories that happened in Neverland. But anyway, I got the gig. I had my own apartment. I lived in the same house. He was on one side. I was on the other. I had my own gym. I had my own
kitchen,
apartment, kitchen.
So he had a whole spread for you. You had your own house, really.
In the same house. No, I wasn't. We had guest houses for the celebrities that came.
But you were in the main house.
Main house. I used to run down in the middle of the night sometimes to the kitchen. I had my own, but I would run down and Mike would be in there looking for, because I used to leave health food snacks out.
Wasn't he a snacker? He was a notorious snacker.
I used to catch him in the kitchen with like his pajamas on, looking for
candy bars.
He would giggle and run away. Like, woo-hoo! Like, okay, Michael, no problem.
He'd look at you and give you a little giggle and then be gone, right?
He was cool. We went jewelry shopping. We went to the circus. We went to the circus in Santa Barbara. As soon as we walked in, the elephants were standing on their two. You know how the elephants get up on two legs, right? The whole joint turned around and looked at Michael. There was no. The elephants probably said, "Man, what happened? We're standing on two legs, and you guys are turning your head."
Was he in disguise then, or
no?
No, he was out in the open. He was cool still. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had huge bodyguards around us. I mean, you know. And then the problem is when we left, you wouldn't believe the people who would follow us back on the 101 freeway. It would be like I
a caravan. Yeah.
Yeah. They would like you'd have to get off, go here, go there to get rid of the people that would follow. And we had people that sat at the gate. People from all over Europe. They would sit out in the front gate. And they would tell me when I came in, can you get me in? Can I get in? I said, no, what are you kidding? Get you in, And, I was like, they all wanted to come in. And there was one day where someone snuck in. This woman snuck in and screamed. I don't know if I should tell this story, but Michael's not around anymore. So she's screaming, I got a baby with Michael.
Mm.
And I'm running around trying to catch this woman. I had to tackle her while the security guards came. So here I am, this little skinny guinea from New York, tackling this big, she was a big woman. She's like, he got my baby. I got his baby. And I'm like, honey, you're crazy. So the cops came, we got her out of there.
The kid looked like him?
Well, I didn't see no kid. I only saw a crazy woman, but what are you going to do?
And the kid might have been in her imagination too, yeah.
Before I leave Neverland to move on and finish this interview, because this could go on for hours, the most interesting part with the
We're going to go to part 3 then. Go ahead.
The guest, you're talking Marlon Brando, Gregory Peck and his wife, Whitney Houston, Barry Gordy, It was unbelievable.
Did you ever cook for Diana?
No, I never met Diana Ross. Never.
Oh man,
I wish she would have came up. She would have been nice. I took Whitney horseback riding at Neverland.
I met Whitney when she was 16. Yeah.
And yeah, because you were right there in Philly, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, it was interesting to be with the guests because Michael would spend like 5 minutes saying, hey, Johnny, take care of them. And I had 4 guest rooms at Neverland that I could act. Well, you can get the pictures online, but I have the book that Michael bought the ranch from. I have a lot of Michael Jackson memorabilia, by the way.
Still own, does his estate still own that?
Anybody want to buy Michael Jackson memorabilia, call me. Hank Aaron memorabilia, bats, balls.
You got it. Yeah.
Ton of stuff. So anyway, it was cool because the guests would come up and then Michael leave them with me.
My
right?
Michael autograph got stolen. Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden I'm here with Marlon Brando, right? And let me tell you, here's a funny. Let me give you the quick Brando story. The rest of everybody
I heard you put 20 pounds on Brando, but go ahead.
No, he was already big. So all of a sudden, corporate calls me and they go, Johnny, Marlon Brando's at the gate. They didn't tell me he's coming. He'll be here in 3 hours.
He's at the gate and he's
hungry. At the gate. And I'm like, Marlon Brando's at the gate.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
I hope Luco Brazzi's with him.
Luco Brazzi sleeps with the fish.
Listen, I told him that in the kitchen while I was cooking for him. I was making him a poached fish and a cabbage salad. And I did it, and he took my cheek like this and squeezed as hard as he could, as if to tell me, no Godfather lines.
Please.
Yeah.
I've had it with that. Yeah. I didn't even take that Oscar. No Godfather lines, please. Right.
The funny part was when we hit it off, because Miko, Marlon's son, used to work for Michael.
He was a security guy, right? Big head of security, right?
Yeah. He was a trip. Listen, we went out to a country bar one night, me, Miko, and the guy who took care of the horses. And we're at some country bar in the middle of Los Olivos, California. And Miko starts a fight. And here I am, New York guy. And these guys all had cowboy hats on.
And they're big guys, too.
Big guys. And I said, Miko, are you crazy? Come on, we got to get out of here, man. We're both going to get fired tomorrow. And we barely got out of there in Los Olivos. We almost got our butts smashed, man, big time. And I'm like, oh, man. But Marlon Brando was a trip. Whitney was fun to hang out with. So, it was good. And Gregory Peck, when he came, Michael had just built the theater. And so we took the Caterpillar bus one night, which was I've
seen the pictures, yeah.
And you got Gregory Peck. Yes.
Sitting in a Caterpillar bus.
With his wife, Veronique. And you got this other guy who invented the California raisins and the Michael Jackson raisins. I forget, Will something. I forget his name now. And me and this other girl, I don't know who she was a friend of Michael's. And we take the Caterpillar bus, and it was dark there, brother. This was not like, this is 2,700 acres in the middle of another 50,000 acres. So we're driving, all of a sudden, there's wild pigs running all over us, in front of us, everywhere. So I'm ready. I say, I'm ready to get the 9mm from the security guard and have some barbecue.
Get some porchetta going.
Get some barbecue tomorrow. Michael didn't want anything shot.
I was going to say, you didn't kill his piggies, did you?
I'm going to confess, they're not his. They were wild. But I will confess that now that he's no longer here, I would never say this. We did one day, the security guards, while Michael was off on an excursion, we actually shot one, and we barbecued him. And it was the most delicious meat I've had in quite a while.
Did Michael have some?
What are you kidding? He would have lost his mind if he knew that we shot.
You did it on the DL. I hear you. Anyway. Well, we're gonna wrap it. We're gonna wrap this one because we're getting a little. And my dog is just telling me it's time.
Oh, let me see that little puppy.
She is she's the official timekeeper. Come here, Gigi girl.
Yeah, she's barking. She's right. It's too long. We'll talk more.
It's time, Daddy. It's time. That's my little girly girl.
She's a sweetie.
She's a pug chihuahua. She's a chug.
I get bit by chihuahuas every time I touch them.
Nah, she's not a typical chihuahua.
No?
She's more of a puglet.
Yeah, but when you're holding a chihuahua, and if I come up and and try to pet her. They're very
but she's never been at anything, a dog, a person, anything, nothing. But she's talking now, so I got to wrap it.
Yeah.
All right.
Joe, this has been fun, man. Listen, whenever you want, if you want to continue, we can continue. There's plenty more stories.
We're going to do a part 3, probably a part 4 too. So let's just we'll check the schedule, and we'll do a virtual lunch, and we'll talk about it.
Love you, baby. You be well, Banana Joe.
Love you too, baby. Good to see you, Johnny. You're looking fabulous. This has been Jock Talk right here on the Banana Joe TV network. Coming soon to Roku. Johnny, I'll be on Roku with my own channel shortly.
Cool.
And we got a lot of things I want to discuss with you about that too. I want to talk about that.
Anytime, baby.
Vehicle for us.
I'm hanging.
Beautiful. All right, this has been Jock Talk, produced at the Flashback Top 40 Studios in Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, right here in Southern California. Thank you so much for listening, watching, or however it is you're getting us. You're getting us. That's what's important. Thanks, Johnny Ciao.
All right, Joe. You take care.
Talk to you soon, buddy. Have a great day.